guys, I want to show you how to really quickly create a Google map for you, which you could use for just about anything, labeling places to go out to eat or places you might want to sightsee, or maybe even bucket places around the world. But Google Maps is just a great tool that's super easy to use that I'd like to see more people using just because it is so easy and just so intuitive. So let's get started. The very first thing that I want to make sure that you've done is that you've created a Google account. I'm not going to walk you through that because you can find videos on that easy. But look, we're going to assume that you've got a Google account up and running, that you're logged in. And so then what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and in the search bar, type in My Maps. Okay. Once you go to My Maps, the very first hit that it'll give you is to Google My Maps, which is perfect. And so you should see a screen that looks like this. Now yours is going to be blank. I went ahead and I created a practice map earlier when I was practicing recording before recording this one. So, but I did want to show you what a practice map or any type of map would look like on your Google My Map dashboard. So you'll have, once you start using Google My Map or using My Maps, and you'll have maps that have been shared with you or even your most recent maps, it's all right here on the dashboard. And once again, just like everything Google, it makes it super simple for you. So then what I want you to do is click on Create a New Map. And so Google will generate a map for you. Now, I'm not quite sure if your map is going to look like mine. It might depend upon where on the planet you are watching this video. But I'm in the United States right now, so of course it makes sense that it's going to give me a prompt of the United States. So the very first thing that we do once we have our map kind of up and running is we want to make sure that we label it, because when you start creating lots and lots of maps, you're going to get confused if you don't have them labeled. So I'm going to title this one Trip to Italy, and the description will be these are places for my trip. Okay. So now once you click save, if you look in the upper left-hand corner, there's our title, Trip to Italy, and there's our description. These are places for my trip. Beneath that, Google Maps will tell you the last time that you've edited this particular video, which is helpful. Once again, once you start looking at maps and you have lots and lots of maps underneath there, giving that time, having time on there when it was edited will give you some context. So the next thing we need to do is let's just go ahead and pick a location. So I'm going to type in Rome because that's the first place I'd like to go to in Italy, is to Rome. And notice how Google Maps already starts to populate different locations that are close by me. Now, Rome, Georgia is closer to me right now than Rome, Italy, but Rome, Italy is where I want to go. So I'm going to click on Rome, Italy, and it'll take me to Rome. And notice if I start to zoom out, you could see all of Italy and basically all of Europe and Northern Africa on the map that Google provides for you. So I don't necessarily want to just put Rome on there. I want to find some places in Rome, but I also have to think about what I want to use this map for, because I want to add some layers, and the layers are probably one of the most beautiful aspects of Google Maps amongst many. And I'm going to show you how those work right now. So what layers allow you to do, especially if you're doing a map that says, hey, I want to travel to Italy. I need to think about the things that I want to place on that map. So I want to place places to eat, places to sightsee. Maybe I'd like to take a look at all the different churches that are in Rome, maybe go to the Vatican, maybe do some shopping. And all of those are different categories. And so what layers allow you to do is to sort locations by categories. And then beyond that, you can toggle the layers on and off, which helps even more if you're trying to search for a place. So we'll start with adding a layer, and I think we'll just call this one food, or maybe let's do places to eat. Places to eat. Okay, so that'll be our very first layer, is places to eat. And then, of course, I mentioned before, shopping. Rome has lots of wonderful places to shop, so I'll call this one shopping. Okay. And then how about places to stay? Because I need to do some research. Do I want to stay in an Airbnb or maybe a hotel? Places to stay. And how about a layer for sightseeing? Okay, we'll call this one sightseeing. I think it's a compound word. Okay, so there we go. So now we have our different layers, and of course, if I click these buttons, once we get some locations on here, you'll be able to see that these can toggle on and off. So let's start with food. If we're going to Rome, of course, food is going to be at the top of anybody's list. And when I get to Rome, the first thing I like to do is I like to get a nice cone of gelato. And Giolidi's is one of my very, very favorite places to go. And there it is right there, Giolidi. So if I click on Giolidi, it will take me to Giolidi's in Rome, which is really, I think it's a little bit north of the Pantheon. Yeah, there's the Pantheon. Here's Giolidi. So the pin that is produced by Google Maps of the location gives you some details. And so you have the address, you have a link to the website that's there, the ratings of people that have eaten there or purchased from there, and of course the name. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to click on Add to Map. And so what it does is it populates Giolidi over in Places to Eat, which is right there. Okay. So next, let's say I want to get some coffee. So I think maybe San Estacio. Yep, there it is. Okay, really, really famous cafe that you need to go to at some point in time. And once again, really close to the Pantheon there. So if I click on that little green pin again, it takes us to the cafe. And I click on Add to Map. And there it is once again underneath Places to Eat. One more location probably to go get a good meal. Oh, there it is right there. I can never remember exactly how to spell it, and I'm not going to even try and pronounce it, but it's a delicious, delicious place to go eat. It's more in the, I don't want to say the northern sections of Rome, but it's in a neighborhood called Monte, which is oh my gosh, it's a great neighborhood if you are looking for food or any number of different things. Click on the green pin once again and Add to Map. Okay, so what I do want to point out to you, which I haven't done yet, is that these pins that you've just dropped underneath Places to Eat are all customizable. And let me show you how. If you click on this button with a little bucket with paint, you can change colors. You can add different icons if you want to add a different icon. So that if you go back over to your map again, you can see how each one of these can be customized to whatever you want it to be. You can also, if you get a chance to, and you travel to these places, and I know a lot of people like to take pictures of food and whatnot, if you click on Add Image, you can add and upload any number of your pictures that are there. And these are just for your benefit. This is not for anybody else's, okay? And let's say you want to talk about how delicious this restaurant is. You could say, I had a wonderful meal here. Okay, and click Save. And so then if you want to use this map for later on down the road, you can make you will have basically a little breadcrumb trail, a little journal, if you will, on your map. Okay, so to save time, what I've done is I've added a few other locations on here. I put some shopping on here and then some places to sightsee. But what I wanted to show you is that as you're adding locations on your map, if it populates in a layer that you don't want it to, it's really, really easy for you to just drag them to the layer where you want them to be. And of course, places like Chanel need to be in shopping. Vatican City, of course, would be in places like sightseeing. It wouldn't necessarily be at places that you, well, I mean, I guess you probably could stay there if you had the credentials, but Piazza Navona and then of course the Colosseum, these are all other places that would be great for sightseeing, okay? Okay, so two more things I want to show you before we're done is I want to show you how you could change the base maps to make it a little bit easier to see your locations, because right now it's actually kind of challenging to see all the places that you pinned unless you zoom out and change the scale. But if you want to zoom in and have a little bit more detailed view and still see all of your locations, if you change the base map, so if you go to the bottom left and click on base map, Google gives you lots and lots of different options. So you can have like a traditional satellite view, which is awesome, but it can also be a little bit confusing. You have just kind of like a plain terrain type of map, which makes it a lot easier, and you can actually see the hills of Rome in this particular base map. One that I like to use, especially when I'm planning out and putting pins on the map, is to have this basically light political map, because it tends to get rid of all the other little sightseeing locations and just has your pins on there. So I think this is a really great map, especially when you want to zoom in and get some detail of just your pins. But just to go back to adding and importing locations onto your map, one thing I think that's really helpful is the fact that when you're in My Maps, if we zoom in a little bit, You see how Google tends to populate more and more places for us, and how they, they're color coded, right? And of course by icons as well. So these are all places to eat. These are places to stay. The pink ones are shopping, of course, is going to be the blue with a little shopping bag on there. And just like before, if you click on any of these locations, so let's say, I'm not quite sure where I want to stay. I need to find a hotel, but I don't know where to stay. I know I want to stay close to the railway station, to Termini. Okay, so I'll click on this little one here that says the Hive, which I don't know anything about it. Don't even know what it looks like. If I click on the Hive Rome, it'll take me to their website, and I could see, okay, well, looks like a pretty great hotel. Maybe this might be someplace that I'd like to stay. And if I go back to my map, I can just go ahead and once again click and add it to my map. And I could drag it down from places to eat, because I don't want to be in places to eat and places to stay instead. And remember, I can change, if I click on the paint can, I could change the color. Maybe I might want to make it red. And then I'll just put a little hotel room bed. And then that's it. And so then I've got my map there. And if I go back to my base map once again, and I do that light political, I can see all of my pins that I put here and the ones that I've changed with icons, and of course the ones that I haven't. But I hope that you could see how helpful this is for whether it's trip planning or whether it's just planning in the city where you live, maybe to see different parts of the city. I hope this has been helpful for you to understand how Google My Maps works and just how to make some basic maps. I think in the next video, what I'll do is I'll show you how to use some of the measuring tools that we have up at the top here, and ways that you can kind of plot out if you want to do some sightseeing, how long it will take you to walk there, or maybe how long it will take you to drive there, and just kind of look under the hood a little bit more on Google Maps.